Hi everyone, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? I'm so sorry.
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, all right. So you're all welcome to this afternoon's session. Good to see the founders. Also good to see mentors who on today's session. So session for today is the mentor idea review session. And as you all know already, the goal is for the founders to receive expert feedback for improvement of their work or to be dropped. That's the goal. It's for founders to receive expert feedback to improve their work or be dropped. So the a real customer problem that is being solved? Has the research proven that the customer problem exists? Is the market viable to pursue? Is the market large enough to sustain your company? Does the revenue model make sense? And is the business name memorable and compelling? And is the business likely to fail? Then what is it about the business that can be improved? And is the founder the right person to be running the business? So all of these metrics are going to be checked during your 3-minute pitch, which you have prepared over the last week. And this session is a major turning point, like I already mentioned, is a major turning point in the program where founders will need to score above a 3.0 in order to pass onto the second phase of the program. And founders who score less than a 3.0 will receive an epic sprint to help them catch up before incorporating. But the goal is to score 3.0 in order to pass. If you don't score 3.0, it means you have not passed. If you score slightly below, we'll give you an epic sprint. So mentors, you are the gatekeepers for this session, and to ensure that only the founders who are ready to move on to the second phase of the program, are the ones that, based on your ratings, are able to cross over. And as always, we expect that you provide direct, honest, and brutal feedback, because the founders who are crossing over to the next session, next phase, some of them will be spending their money to incorporate their businesses, which is starting next week. And also, mentors, please note, if you rate a founder 5, it means that you will take that as a verbal agreement that you're willing to invest in their business. And so we expect that you make sure you put your notes in the rating field to help the founders with your comments. So we're going to have the breakout rooms and take the pitches in turns, as will be explained by Mr. Shegun, and all mentors are expected to rate. So each founder will receive ratings from all the mentors. So your rating links have been sent to you, mentors. So please go to that link, select the semester name, which is Abuja Spring 2023, and the session name, which is Mentor Idea Review, not Hot Seat, Mentor Idea Review. You select that from the drop down, and there you will see three rating criteria, which is one, viability of the idea, skill of the presentation, and thoroughness of the research. So please rate the founders accordingly. Each founder is expected to have ratings from all the mentors. One will mentor will provide the verbal feedback, but all others will all be expected to enter their ratings. So we have 8 of you. So each founder is expected to have ratings from 8 mentors today, so that the aggregate score can be balanced. And so the rating price, and also we expect your comments and your notes on what needs to be improved. So we're not going to have any networking session afterwards, because as soon as we're done, we'll quickly look at those scores, and for those who did not score, who scored slightly below 3, we'll issue epic sprints, and those who need more support, epic sprints. That's our special assignment, which will all be due by next week, in addition to the current sprint that they have. So, and once we're done in the pitch rooms, then we can all just come back together for brief Q and A. So that's how the mentor idea review session would run today. And so the mentors that are already familiar with FI, you already know what to do, but then we'll be very, very happy if you use the link and we have all the scores. So I see that we have Abubakar Abdullahi mentors now. Katie Mapondera is also here. Chris is also here joining us from the US. Chintan is also here joining us from India. Dr. Salisu Uba joining us from the UK. Who else do I see? So you're all welcome. And founders, so we'll be sharing the LinkedIn profiles of the mentors for this session in the chat box. So you can click on the chat box and just follow them. But just a brief intro on the mentors and their profiles. So we have Chintan Rosa, who is the founder and managing partner at Anatam Ecosystems, based in India. And this is an emerging early stage consulting firm in pre-seed and seed and Series A startups. He has tons and tons of years of experience. As a matter of fact, I have a profile for him, which is on 2 pages. Today, we're not able to take all of that, but his LinkedIn profile is there, and he's an FI top leader, top mentor. Also with us is Abubakar Abdullahi, who is the founding manager of the Front Office NG. A lot of you have interacted with mentor Abdullahi. He's a certified project manager with over 15 years of experience spanning construction, financial services, consulting, and development. He's based here in Abuja. So welcome, Abubakar. His LinkedIn profile will be shared. And so we also have Chris Foles, who is Managing Director, Responsible Solutions Limited. He is a celebrated transformation strategist, startup advisor, an inspirational speaker, and also the managing director of the Silicon Valley-based strategy firm called Responsible Solutions, and also one of the top leaders in the Silicon Valley chapter. You're welcome. His profile also is on 2 pages, so please follow him on LinkedIn for sharing that. And we have Katie Mapondera, who is founder and managing partner of QL&D LLC, an innovation strategy and learning development consultancy based in Doha, Qatar. So she's joining us from Qatar and also leading the chapter in Qatar. So please follow her on LinkedIn. Her profile link will be shared. We also have Engineer Betty joining us. I guess she's having some network problems. She sent a message, but she should be joining us shortly. She's a former Chief Innovation Officer of NNPC, but currently the Chief Executive Officer of Scale Vision Services Limited. She's a top management executive with over 30 years of experience in the Nigerian oil and gas sector. Her LinkedIn profile will also be shared for you to follow. And Dr. Salisu Uba, who is the founder of NatQuest, based in the UK, also a diligent procurement and supply chain leader with a track record of exceeding ambitious business objectives and goals and projects across many sectors. You're welcome, Dr. Salisu Uba, also one of our top mentors. Also joining us from the US is Latif Ashekun, who is a Deputy Information Officer at Fulton County government. He has over 20 years of business technology experience and a decorated US Marine Iran War veteran. He's known for driving business transformation and maximizing operational excellence. So welcome, Latif. As usual, all our mentors are investors, literally. So even though they may be having other areas of interest. Also, we have Franklin Kamang Nganso, who is the co-founder of Vitamin C and S Coaching, joining us from Cameroon. He's a finance expert and also an independent consultant and coach with lots of experience in project management, business consulting, and a whole lot more. So his LinkedIn profile will also be shared for you to follow and engage. So this is the lineup, formidable lineup of mentors that we have today, who will be providing feedback to your work thus far. So thank you for the opportunity and your time, mentors. You're very welcome. And so founders, all you have done in the past 5 weeks is being put to test today, a validation of your ideas. So all of that is going to be rated by the mentors. So if you do well, you cross over to the next part of the program. If you don't do well, you are dropped. However, I must say that in FI, you fail forward. So even if you don't succeed now, we just advise you to re-enroll. There's a lot of information, a lot of knowledge that has been passed on in the past 5 weeks, that if you utilize it properly, it will transform your business. So if you don't make it this time, it's not, you can always come back and, work on what you've learned so far and improve or either pivot or iterate. So that's what it is. It's not a failure and must not be taken, But then the mentors will provide honest and brutal feedback so that all of our time here is worth the while, because we're trying to help you build solid businesses, okay, that can scale. So welcome everyone, and well done for so far, and welcome mentors once again. So we'll move on to um, the next phase. We're just jumping straight into the breakout rooms where feedback will, the pitch sessions will begin. So I'll hand over to Mr. Shegun to, handle the next phase of the program. Thank you for listening.
Okay, yeah, thank you all, and good day, everyone. So we've got so much to do today, and we'll jump in straight. Now, would the founders already have the breakout rooms where you should join? So I wanted all founders to move straight into the breakout room. And mentors, please, will quickly have, no, sorry, before we go to the breakout room, I'm sorry about that. Quickly, Chinta and I mean, you don't have this kind of star-studded team, and you don't want to take a group picture. So we'll quickly take a group picture. Please, if you could, all cameras could be turned on. So we'll have a quick group picture. Catherine, let me know when you're ready and when that is done.
These group pictures would be of use and good memory when you all graduate.
Yeah.
Right? You all would smile as and when you would look at these pictures of mentor idea review and other sessions along with these mentors, right? These are the kind of memories let us build while we move towards success.
Okay. Shamsuddin, Mohammed, Shamsuddin, let me see your picture up. Okay, great. Abubakar Kabir, let me see your picture up. Okay. Very good. Okay, thank you very much. So all founders, please move immediately into your breakout room, Group A and Group B, while we have a quick chat with the mentors. So all founders, please immediately get into your breakout rooms. Catherine, please could you help me make that? Thank you.
Yeah, I don't see the breakout room option here.
Your mentors will stay in the room while we have the quick session. All founders are to move straight to the breakout room. They are moving in right now, so we'll have some time, just a minute, to share some information. Yeah, they're going gradually. Okay, we'll put them in the waiting room, then they'll come back. Okay, I'm going to put some of you in the waiting room so you can try to connect again, and immediately you would be sent into your room. Sorry about that. So get into the waiting room and then get back in quickly. Yeah. Thank you, mentors. This is just a quick one. We're supposed to have done this earlier on, but we just thought we should, you know, do it when everyone is in. I'll be sharing my screen shortly. So okay. So this is the MIR, and I'm sure we all have, all know what it's about. But I just really need to reiterate the importance of every mentor giving us feedback on scores for the founders. Now, from the files you've gotten, we'll get feedback from one mentor per founder. So one mentor will give us feedback. However, will give us feedback and also rate. However, all mentors are please required to give us feedback also. And so I'm sharing my screen now just for us to see the FI hot seats link, the link which has been shared with us. So once you get to the link, please select Abuja Spring 2024, Abuja Spring 2024. And of course, next thing is select your name. At this point, I'm right now on Segun Obakeye. Then afterwards, please select Mentor Idea Review. Not hot seat, not investor progress review, Mentor Idea Review. And finally, you select whichever one of the founders you want to rate. And once that rating comes, you're expected to rate them on three areas. The first one is the viability of their core idea. The second thing is the skill of their presentation. And the third thing is the thoroughness of their research. As we know in F5, all we have is 1, 2, 4, and 5. No middle point, no 3. Please, let's ensure that we rate each one of them as a pitch, so that because of certain schedule, our calendar is very tight. We don't have a break. So founders go straight into the next session. It's a rough time for them. We don't have a 1-week break after the MIR. We're moving into the next session immediately. So please rate immediately so we can aggregate the scores and know who is staying in the program and who is leaving. And also, please comment. You might have some comments. I think we always have comments for them. So please, let's ensure this is done ASAP. I want to ask if there are any questions, please. None.
No, I think that's fine.
So please, you need to log into your FI account for this to happen. Okay. So thank you for that. Lady A, is there any other thing I must have missed out? Okay. So I'll stop sharing now. Catherine Wood. Oh, Mr. Latif just joined. So we'll pass that message to him. I'll pass that message to him. So we can start getting into the one of the directors, Lady A, and I would also be in each of the rooms to do the timing and any kind of administrative coordination which you need. Thank you very much, guys. So, Catherine, we're waiting.
Where are the actual, oh, there it is. Thank you.
Hi, Chris. You have I think there's a notification on your screen right now, Chris, to join one of the rooms. Chris, my man is back here again.
Thank you, mentors. Great to have you guys. Let's leave the breakout room and go into the day.
Welcome, everyone. How did it go?
So you won't get, you see your rating on the back dashboard. So when you log in, you see your rating, you know if you're in or out. Okay, so.
Thank you so much, mentors. We enjoyed having you here, providing feedback. And so we just want to take some questions. Mr. Shegun, just continue with the Q&A. Yeah, questions from founders now. Yeah?
Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you, mentors. So, aside asking what is your score, so that question will be entertained. So let's see. Anyone with a question? Let me see your hands with emojis up. Do you have any question? Founders, any question? Okay, I see Chris. I see Babatunde. Going. Any other person? I see Chioma. And 4. There's none. We'll close at 4 people. So 4 questions. We'll start with the first person. Mentors, how do you do this? Do we tackle one question per time, or do we roll out all the questions? I always go for the first. We tackle one question per time, but it's up to you guys. The questions are targeted at you. So how do you want it done? We take one at a time, right?
I prefer one at a time.
Okay. So, Chris, you go first.
Okay, sir. I wanted to ask how do you connect with Chris for office hours? Because there are some things that he noticed on each. One of the things that
Sorry, Chris, let me get that very well. Your line is cracking. You said what? How do you? I want
we connect
questions that are specific.
We can hear me now.
That question is on office hours, right?
Yes, sir. That's
Okay.
Should I go on?
I was hoping you ask some technical questions.
Yes, that's what I want to ask now.
Okay, ask that now.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
From my own offering, last year, 2023, right? The total transaction in Nigeria.
Okay, Chris, you know what? I can hardly hear you. So I want you to do something. I want you to type in your question in the box, in the chat. Just type in the question. And also for everyone, you could also type in questions if you have. Please type in your question in the box. because no, I can barely hear what you're saying. Okay, so Chioma, you go next.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. So my question is on leadership. Yes, we already understand that it's quite anybody could be a founder, but not everybody could be a leader, and not a good leader at that. So the mentors that we have here, they've been quite successful in setting up structures, as well as mentoring other young people or other founders towards setting up their own structures of their own. So I'd like some insights. What makes a good leader? What are some things that we should take note of? How do we become better in providing services to the people that would come after us? Because in leading a company, you're not taking care of yourself alone, you're taking care of your employees, you're taking care of your customers, and as well as people who might be affected, or fourth parties might be affected by your product. So yeah, that's my question. How can I be a better leader?
How can she be a better leader? It's often
got that.
mentors who, yeah.
I'd like to, I got a couple points on that. You know, I love that you asked this question. And what I realized is this, like, there's surely a difference between being in a position of leadership and actually leading people. Just like there's a difference between being an influencer and actually being a center of influence. And the greatest leaders I've ever worked with are great because they listen. And, you know, well, who they listen to? You know, it's hard sometimes to determine who you listen to. And so the second greatest quality of leaders I know is knowing how to surround themselves with competent managers. Because as a leader, there's something different about managing things. And, you know, with leaders, you need to be inspirational. With managers, you need to be precise. You know, there's a whole different world, and understanding the difference and how it pertains to your role and your involvement in a company is key. I've seen some of the greatest companies fail because their founder wasn't a good leader, amazing manager, but they wouldn't let go of that CEO title, right? They wouldn't let it go. When if they were the COO, they would be $1 billion company. And it's not about, sometimes it's about ego, and there's no place for ego in leadership. And ironically, I'll admit something. You know, I remember when I first took the FI entrepreneur DNA test. All of you have taken it. You know, this test result gave me a 0 for trust and a 0 for emotional control. Now, what the heck? I speak all over the world on things like this. How is that the case? I immediately lost trust in the test, and I immediately lost emotional control about it, right? So what it proved to me that it was right, but I failed to listen. I didn't look at it for what it actually was. I looked at it for what I saw, and there was a difference there. So leaders are always progressing, always learning, and they're always reacting to failures. I always thought everything was about success. Spend just as much time as a company reacting to failures, learning from them, because that's where your legacy is built. I yield.
Thank you. Let's get some other angles to that. Yes. The other mentor wants to share.
Can I piggyback on that? Because
Yeah.
I loved where Chris landed in terms of learning, the importance of learning. Chioma, I think it's important to know leadership skills are skills. They are skills, and they need to be learned. I know when I had my first leadership role, I thought that leaders were born and not made, and that's simply not true. And I know that partly because I was a horrible leader in my first leadership role. And once I realized that, I spent the next 8 years systematically studying and practicing leadership. I highly recommend the book Primal Leadership by Daniel Goleman. It gives you 6 leadership styles that you need to put into your toolkit that research has shown have a financial impact on your business. So do check out Primal Leadership by Daniel Goleman. And give yourself time to learn, so learn the skills of leadership. Go and put yourself through a course of learning and practice, and give yourself permission to be bad at it so that you can take the time to become good at it most of us who end up being good at things, it's because we spent a lot of time practicing. So that's important to understand. The other piece of advice I'd offer is to be an effective leader. I mean, piggybacking on Chris's point about listening. So how do you listen? You need to set up agreements with the people you're leading for them to feel safe to share what they're thinking. I call this setting up ways of working. And this is very, very important to make sure that your startup doesn't fall apart. Setting up ways of working is a intentional, structured conversation that you have with your team to come to agreement about, okay, let's agree on how decisions are made in our startup. Potentially you're saying, look, I am the leader, so I will make the final decision. I'll invite your input because I want to hear your recommendations, and I will make the final decision. Or I'm delegating these decisions to so-and-so. So making sure that it's very clear how decisions are made, come to agreement about how conflict will be handled. What are we going to do if somebody doesn't feel good, if someone feels disrespected? Let's agree up front. So thank you for writing that in, Shigun. So those are my two nuggets. Leadership is a skill to be learned. Go study it and practice it. And number two, set up ways of working with your team so that a lot of the stuff that causes leadership to implode and teams to implode, you've already, made a plan for how you'll deal with the more difficult aspects, so that your chances of succeeding increase.
Yeah, I'd like to add.
Yeah.
one more perspective. Let me see if I could try to be brief as much as possible. But first want to acknowledge Chris and Karen's feedback. So people, culture, right? So when you think of a leader, your responsibility, right? I've heard Chris and Karen talk about mission, vision. They talked a lot about, some people call it soft skills, some people call it human skills, right? The listening, the communication, and so on and so forth. But kind of going back to the point that I want to make, your job as a leader is to develop people, right? Right. So a lot of times we as individuals do not understand our growth potential, or sometimes we think there's a ceiling, right? So your primary responsibility is to develop people. Now, how you go about that, right, is kind of up to you. So one thing that I've learned in the last 10 to 15 years is the value of having a coach, right? So no matter where you are in your career as a founder, but particularly as a leader, it's important to have a board of your own personal board of directors, right? And the personal board of directors, you should have folks that coach you, whether that's an executive coach, right, on the startup front or on a personal front, right? As part of my coaching journey, what I've learned, one of the key things that I learned was having a leadership development, a leadership philosophy. So think of it as a personal manifesto, right? And in that philosophy, you're essentially putting pen to paper and you're telling your team, right, and other stakeholders that work with you, what those key guiding principles are for you and what those key core values, and setting very clear expectations on what they should expect from you and how you look to contribute and help build them up, right? So I would encourage you all to spend some time on developing your own leadership philosophy and clearly communicating that to your teams. But the key nugget here is the job as a leader is to inspire, right? Is to motivate, and more importantly, to develop people. So how do you ensure you have succession planning? How do you ensure you have a talent development plan? How do you ensure you are building the right team of people that are smarter than you, right? And you have the ability to empower and kind of delegate to them. So think of your core mission as developing someone or developing a team of folks that could eventually replace you as a CEO or COO.
Okay, thank you, Lateef. Any other insight into that, or we take the next question? Okay, let's take the next question. Joel, let's have your question.
All right, so I typed the question. So based on feedback from my pitch, the feedback was that my market was too niche. Also, I'm focusing on the creatives, and I'm starting with freelance photographers. So I want clarity. Is this not conflicting with the one customer, one problem approach that we're taught for idea validation? Or what can I do? How can I make my idea better?
Okay. Come again. Let me get that question, Tony.
Okay, so
Come
the
again with the
feedback.
question. Yeah.
Okay. The feedback from my pitch was that the market I was targeting is too niche, like it was focused on creatives alone, right? So I'm asking, what can I do to make my offering better? Is this not conflicting with the idea of solving a one customer and one problem concept? What can I do to make my idea better?
Okay.
I didn't comment on it in the room, but I heard the presentation. And I used to be a professor at a university of creatives, right? Photographers, all this stuff in Chicago, Illinois. And so this is a huge challenge, right? So there is a challenge here. Do I think that your focus is narrow enough? Yes. Do I think it's too narrow? No. The creative landscape is wide. Now, I'm not speaking negative towards any other mentor's opinions. Just like investors, everybody has different opinions. So you will find the investors that says that you're too narrow, right? But then there's also the investor that loves the creative landscape and understands it. And when they understand it, they'll understand where this somewhat fits in there. Now, if somebody is giving you feedback and saying that, hey, listen, this seems too narrow, that means that something else is wrong in there. Your market size is wrong. Your traction or your roadmap seems off. So the advice is probably accurate. The solution for it is probably not a change of focus, rather a change somewhere else. I'll go through it. I wasn't meticulously paying attention to each step of it, so I will admit that. But I understand the concept, and I did give feedback. But I'll meet with you, talk about this, and I like the focus that you're in. It's a storytelling. You need to fix your storytelling and make people feel perception's reality. So even if you had a hyper narrow focus, it's the way that you tell the story that allows the audience to perceive it the way that you need them to. All right.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you
very much.
Okay. So any other feedback for that before we move on to the last question? And if mentors, if you have some other comments you want to share with them, you could drop it in. Okay, Emmanuel Dili, your question.
Thank you. Change App does not have direct competitors, but indirect competitors. And with a 10-slide presentation, I had to make the decision to put go-to-market and traction in place of the competitive advantage. I just wanted to find out was that a good idea to do, or is it still very important that even though Change App does not have direct competitors, in a 10-slide presentation, the competitive advantage seems to be very important to add.
Okay, did you get that?
Can I answer this?
Yeah, please.
All right. So this was mentor idea review where we validated the idea. You had been given certain guidelines which probably you missed to read through. You are yet to learn about go-to-market strategy. Without you learning go-to-market strategy, if you include those slides, then that may not be the right thing. Right now, the purpose of this review is to make sure that your idea is valid and you have a product market fit already achieved, or you can achieve it very soon. The next review is mentor progress review. This is where we would have a detailed look at your GTM and other aspects of it. So it's a bit early for this review. The duration of this pitch is 3 minutes. The duration of pitch for mentor progress review, which is exactly after 1 month, would be 5 minutes. right? So you got good time to prepare. And it is a well thought process where we wanted to make sure that you have researched your idea, you have interviewed enough number of prospects. Can you tell me how many number of prospects you have interviewed by now, Emmanuel?
Yeah, we actually have traction. I've interviewed over probably 30 to 40 prospects.
That's what I'm saying. So, basis of feedback of these 30 or 40 people, do you think you can build a long-lasting world-class startup? And out of these 40, if we get into a deep dive, most of them would be knowing you by name, or you would be knowing by their name. You need to discard these feedbacks because people whom you know and they know you are not your right customers. Your relative, your neighbor, your friends are not the ones who's going to make a payment to consume this product or services you are selling. They'll say, oh, forget it. I mean, I'm not going to pay Emmanuel, right? But then the person who's going to pay you, the unknown person, is someone you need to catch hold of and then seek feedback. If you are ignoring, you are in a big risk, buddy. So I hope I'm able to clarify your query. This is not the right time to review the GTM. This is the right time to understand validation of your idea and see that yes, it is worth pursuing and scaling up this idea. I guess you are still not convinced. Tell me.
No, no, I understand.
Right. All right. All right.
Office hours for more clarity and whatever. I'll go back to Lady A. So the Q&A session is over. Lady A, over to you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, mentors, and thank you to the founders. Great job done. And well, we've come to the end of the session, and we'll just work on your scores, and we'll share, the information to you much later. And so we'll be giving you sprints for those. Like I said, I talked about the scores. You need to have scored up to 3 to stay in the program. If you're slightly under 3 and we think you have an opportunity, you'll get the epic sprints, which are due by next week. And so that's it. And I wish you all the best. So thank you once again, Chintan. It was nice seeing you after a while. Chris, thank you so much. And Franklin, nice to meet you. And also Abu has dropped off, but thank you everyone. And so Katie, yeah, it's been a while. Nice to see you here as well. And so please, we also need you to set up office hours. Yes, we promised, and we look forward to seeing your office hours set up so that the founders can engage more. Yeah, and founders, please, feedback, critical, take the feedback, work it out, work this project. We want to see your work highly refined. So do have a great day and all the best to everyone. So bye for now. Bye. Thank you to my team. Thanks. Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, well done. Catherine, well done.
That room is like